The story begins by showing us a girl bathing in a bathroom. But when she steps out of the bathroom after bathing, some people wearing strange masks on their faces are waiting for her outside. The girl sees them and screams loudly, and the scene cuts right there. Now, who are these people and what did they do to the girl? Let's find out. The story starts by introducing us to a woman named Farhana, who belongs to a Muslim family. Farhana is married and lives with her husband and 3 children. 2 are school-going and 1 is an infant. Farhana's father owns a shoe shop where her husband also works. Currently, the shop isn't doing very well, but at one point, it was so profitable that Farhana's father used its earnings to marry off all 3 of his daughters. Farhana's husband is a very simple man, but his income isn't enough to send their children to a good school. Seeing the financial situation, Farhana asks her father if she can get a job. However, Farhana's father holds traditional views and strongly dislikes the idea of women in his family working outside the home. Farhana doesn't even have her own mobile phone. Any calls come on the landline, and she isn't even allowed to receive them. With no other option, Farhana borrows some money from her neighbor to manage the household expenses. Later, she attends a wedding of a Christian friend with her husband, Kareem. There, Farhana looks at everyone and wonders how good their lives are and when her own life will be like that. She meets another childhood friend named Nitya, who, understanding Farhana's plight through their conversation, tells her about her company and says she should come there tomorrow as interviews are ongoing. Farhana tells Kareem about the job interview. The next day, Kareem takes her to the location. After the interview, Farhana comes out and tells Kareem that she cleared it. Kareem is not overjoyed, but can't say anything to Farhana either, as he knows that his inability to earn is forcing her to take this job. Nonetheless, he can't do anything about it. Farhana buys a purse for herself and is quite excited about the job. In the next scene, when Farhana gets ready to go to work, her father strongly disapproves. Kareem brings a pair of sandals for Farhana and helps her put them on with his own hands. Farhana then goes to the office, where she is informed that she will first undergo training to understand how things work. It's a credit card selling center, and Farhana is taught everything about the job. After the training, Farhana nervously talks to a customer for the first time. She easily explains everything and manages to sell her first credit card. With time, Farhana becomes quite proficient at her job. Doing this job brings a new level of confidence to her. Her salary and incentives are enough to run the house very well. However, there is another department on the upper floor of her office building where the girls earn much higher incentives. They come to the office in cars and own iPhones. Seeing this, Farhana also wants to work there. So when her friend Nitya moves to that department, Farhana asks her, "Please help me get a job there too." Nitya tells her, "The job you have is perfectly fine. You won't be able to handle our job, so work diligently where you are." One day, Farhana's child suddenly becomes very ill. He has severe difficulty breathing. They rush him to the hospital, where the doctor informs them that there is a problem with the child's lungs and an urgent operation is required. Since the operation is absolutely necessary, they reluctantly take out a loan to pay for the procedure. The operation is successful, but now they have to repay the loan. Farhana shares this problem with Nitya and pleads with her to help her get a job in her department. Reluctantly, Nitya takes her to her boss, who tells Nitya to explain everything about the job to Farhana. He says they will observe Farhana's performance for a week, and if it's satisfactory, she will be continued. Nitya tells Farhana that this job is very different from her previous one. It's an online calling chat service where people call only to have conversations of their choice with girls. Essentially, they have to engage in obscene conversations with people. The longer she talks to a customer, the more money she will earn. There are rules, such as not revealing anything personal to any customer, not even their real name. If anyone breaks this rule, Vivek will complain to the boss, and the girl will be fired. Vivek's main job is to record and listen to all the calls. After explaining all this, Nitya starts talking to her client. Hearing their conversation makes Farhana feel very bad. While going home, she feels like everyone is looking at her with bad intentions. She decides to stick to her old job. Seeing Farhana upset, Karim asks her the reason. Farhana tells him that a customer talked to her very badly today. Karim laughs and says, "Oh, what's there to be scared of? This is just part of the job. Just like I put slippers or shoes on people's feet in my shop every day, but I don't do that outside. As long as someone talks to you in any way during the job, it's fine. But if they do it outside of the job, they deserve to be taught a lesson." Karim's words give Farhana some courage, so she returns to the same office. There, she asks Nitya why people talk like that, and how the girls manage to work there, saying it feels wrong. Nitya explains to Farhana, "Look, this is just a service through which people can share the secret thoughts with a stranger that they can't share with their wives. At least these people aren't harassing girls on the streets." After Nitya's explanation, Farhana starts taking calls. She talks to many strange people. A girl named Sophia also works in this office and is always at the top due to the high number of calls she takes. The next day, Farhana continues to struggle. She doesn't feel comfortable talking to any client. Suddenly, she receives a call from a client who talks to her respectfully instead of obscenely. Farhana is happy to hear this and feels that this man is genuinely good-hearted. The man who called Farhana was named Dylan, but he doesn't tell her his real name. Following the rule, Farhana gives him her name as Esha. Soon, Farhana and Dylan start having long conversations every day. This significantly improves Farhana's performance, and only Sophia is ahead of her now. One day, Farhana tells Dylan that she plans to quit this job soon because she doesn't think it's right. Dylan says, "Esha, no, don't do that. I only enjoy talking to you." We have developed a strange connection. Farhana likes Dylan's words and decides to continue the job. One day, while talking, Dylan figures out from Farhana's conversation that she is a Muslim. Farhana is a little surprised, but she trusts Dylan enough by now to tell him about her religion. Vivek listens to their conversation very closely because he knows that something is definitely going on between Dylan and Farhana. Dylan tells Farhana that it's the month of Ramzan, so how is she managing to talk so much while fasting? He suggests she rest. During this time, he also plays his music for her. After a while, he says he wants to give her a gift. Farhana tells him, "Please give it to a beggar instead. That would be the biggest gift for me." On her way home, at the metro station, Farhana sees a packet with the name Esha on it next to a beggar. When she asks about it, the beggar says a man gave it to him and asked him to give it to a girl named Esha, and he also gave him a lot of money. Hearing this, Farhana opens the gift and finds a musical instrument called the sonophone. Farhana's face lights up with joy. She forgets everything. However, the next day at the office, Farhana doesn't receive a call from Dylan. She gets worried about what might have happened to him. She keeps getting calls from different people, which she cuts. Farhana waits for 2 days, but still no call from Dylan. So she goes with Sophia to buy a mobile phone and gives her Aadhaar card to Sophia, so she can get a SIM card for Farhana. Later, Farhana sees a headline in a newspaper that reads, "A musician who used to chat online with a girl has died in an accident." Reading this news, Farhana thinks it might be Dylan. She shares this with Nitya. Suddenly, Dylan calls Farhana. He apologizes for not calling and explains that his phone was broken, which is why he couldn't talk to her. Farhana tells him, "I thought something had happened to you. This incident has made me realize that life is very short. Anything can happen to anyone. That's why I want to meet you." Hearing her, Dylan first reveals his name and says, "I want to meet you tomorrow on the day of Eid." Farhana agrees and says she will bring biryani for him. When Vivek learns about their meeting, he initially considers telling his boss, but then stops himself because he, like Farhana, wants to see this man. The next day, Farhana happily prepares biryani, but when it's time to leave, she can't find an opportunity to go out. In the evening, the entire family plans to go out for an outing. Farhana feigns illness and declines to go out. After everyone leaves, she packs the biryani in a tiffin and sets out to meet Dylan. On the way, Karim sees Farhana going somewhere. He quietly follows her. After a while, Farhana reaches the metro station, where Vivek is also present, who also wants to see Dylan. But then, Farhana suddenly gets a call from Nitya, who tells her that Sophia used to meet her client outside, who took her to a hotel room where other people were also present and wanted to enjoy with Sophia. In the commotion, a sharp object accidentally pierced Sophia's throat, leading to her death. This is the scene shown at the beginning of the movie. Hearing this, Farhana's heart sinks, and she leaves the biryani tiffin there and returns home, because the same could have happened to her as well. When she returns, the police are already at her house, having come about Sophia. They found Farhana's order card in Sophia's purse, which she forgot to take back. The police question Farhana and leave. Learning about Farhana's phone and all these incidents, Farhana's father gets very angry with her. However, Kareem doesn't say a word. The next day, when Farhana calls Nitya and refuses to come to work, Kareem tells her, "If you suddenly stop going to work like this, people will think you must have done something. That's why you should definitely go there." Farhana listens to Kareem and goes to the office again. Due to Sophia's death, all the girls are reminded of the rules, and they are all given pepper spray for security purposes. Afterward, everyone gets back to work. Suddenly, Dylan calls Farhana. Farhana tries to talk to him in a very professional manner. Dylan asks her, "Why didn't you come to meet me yesterday?" Farhana says rudely, "We will never meet, and from now on, I won't talk to you like this. I come here to do my job, not to build a relationship." Hearing all this, Dylan cuts the call. He doesn't call for the next few days. One day, while discussing Dylan, Nitya tells Farhana, "You should have tried to understand him first. You shouldn't have behaved so rudely. Explain everything to him properly." Hearing this, Farhana agrees to tell Dylan the truth. Suddenly, Dylan calls. Before Farhana can say anything, he tells her, "Do you think I won't be able to find out about you if you don't talk to me? When I didn't call you the other day, I was following you. You refused me, and now you'll see what I do to you." Dylan calls Farhana by her real name. He also knows her address, from the office to her home. He says, "I will keep following you until you learn your lesson and come to meet me yourself." Farhana gets very scared hearing all this. She goes home nervously because she feels Dylan might be following her. At home, a parcel with the name Esha has arrived. Kareem sees it and returns it, saying, "No girl named Esha lives at this address." The next day at the office, when Dylan calls Farhana again, she tells him, "If you don't stop harassing me, I will complain to the police." Dylan says, "Feel free to complain. And remember one thing, I have all your call recordings, which I will show to your husband and family." Hearing this, Farhana doesn't know what to do. As she is going home, she sees a man wearing a black shirt following her. She tries to dodge him and realizes that it is none other than her husband, Kareem. Upon reaching home, she confronts Kareem. "If you suspected me, why did you send me to work?" Kareem shows her the biryani tiffin and says, "I followed you that day too, and that's when I understood that you were in danger from someone. That's why I follow you like this, so that no one can harm you. Whether you tell me anything or not, I won't ask you anything. But from tomorrow, I will drop you off and pick you up." Farhana agrees to this, and she starts going to and from the office with Kareem every day. Meanwhile, Vivek learns about how Dylan is torturing Farhana, so he modifies the system so that Dylan's calls go to all the other girls except Farhana. This completely infuriates Dylan. The next day, he sees Farhana coming to the office with her husband. Out of anger, he causes an accident for Kareem. Then he steals Kareem's phone, calls Farhana, and says, "I have punished your husband, which should have been yours. But don't worry, he survived and is in the hospital." Hearing this, Farhana immediately goes to the hospital to see Kareem. We see that Kareem has an injury to his leg, but it's nothing serious. The next day, Farhana decides to confront Dylan. She uses the Cenophone to trace the shop where it was bought. From there, Farhana finds out about Dylan's credit card, which belongs to the same bank where Farhana used to work. Then, with the help of a technician, Nitya and Farhana get Dylan's address and phone number. Farhana also finds out that Dylan is currently shopping at a mall using his credit card. Farhana immediately rushes there and finally finds Dylan. Nitya makes a fake call to Farhana, which helps her recognize Dylan. Then, Farhana covers her face with a mask and goes to steal Dylan's phone because it contains all the recordings of the conversations between her and Dylan. But before Farhana can take the phone, Dylan recognizes her and grabs her hand. Seeing this, Farhana sprays pepper spray into his eyes and runs away. She goes to a shop to get the phone's lock opened. After it is opened, Farhana finds nothing in it because Dylan had already transferred all the data elsewhere. Farhana is completely devastated by this news. Dylan tells her, "I will now send the entire video to your husband." He continues to torture Farhana with this threat throughout the night, which makes her very nervous. When she goes to Kareem, her hands are trembling, and she spills all the tea. The scene cuts here. In the next scene, we see Farhana going to the office again. This time, she tells Dylan, "I am coming to your house to meet you right now." Dylan is very happy to hear this. The story then shows the flashback of when Dylan was coming to meet Farhana on the day of Eid. He mistook a woman for Farhana and touched her from behind. The lady slapped Dylan hard, and everyone looked at him strangely. He felt very insulted. Still, he wanted to meet Farhana, but she didn't show up. The next day, she suddenly stopped talking to him properly. That's why Dylan now wanted to take revenge for these things. Anyway, Farhana reaches Dylan's house. Dylan immediately calls Kareem and says, "Your wife is after me, and she is at my house right now. I am sending the location. Come and take her from here." He looks at Farhana and says, "I started liking you, and I had planned everything for our first meeting." Just then, Kareem arrives. He is not surprised at all to see Farhana, because after spilling the tea last night, Farhana had told Kareem everything. Kareem did not get angry and understood his wife's problem. Then he took her to a lady police officer he knew. From there, they made a plan that Farhana would go to meet Dylan the next day. Farhana also gives the recordings to the police as evidence through Vivek. All that was left was for the police to come with Kareem and arrest Dylan. The police catch Dylan red-handed. Farhana tells him, "You're a psycho and you can't love anyone but yourself." Through this story, the message is conveyed that girls, in particular, should not blindly trust any stranger, no matter how right and good they may seem. Because we still see many cases around us where girls become victims of online fraud and crime. So friends, how did you like this story? I hope you enjoyed it. See you with another unique story.